Okay, so let's move on to this. We're looking at the murder weapon.
This is one of the murder weapons.
How incredible is it that there is only one cell available to test, and it just happens to go into CODIS at a perfect time to find a match?
It's a miracle.
Newswatch is on the scene of a large fire on Lakeland Boulevard in Mattoon, Illinois at Ilmo Products Company. That's a welding supply store. But can you explain to me why that's actually a small portion of the overall budget and how much it actually costs Americans?
There's a new update in the hate crime/attempted murder case out of Paris, Illinois right now. I'm Olivia Bennett. I'm a reporter with Olivia Bennett. I'm a reporter with WEIU. Let me tell you about it.
Just as it's the time of year for dry weather, it's also the time when more seasonal sickness like COVID, the flu, and RSV start to appear. If you've been hiking in Warbler Ridge recently, you might notice something weird. Some of the trees have a thin blue line around the bottom. They'll do anything to make their Olympian smile.
This has to be looking south, I would think, maybe west.
And I flipped on the television. The very first thing I saw was my cousin, my dear friend Barb, being carried out of a cornfield in a body bag. That was such a moment in time when you know your whole life is going to change.
40 years later, snow covers that very cornfield, and Dr. Barbara Bramer's killer is still unknown.
Barb and I were the two babies of the family. But she was my favorite buddy, cousin all the time growing up.
They say that you have to be a little bit crazy to be a good psychologist, and Aunt Barbara was.
The thing that I remember probably most about her was that, she was a traveler.
She was always going to like Japan or India or Europe or England.
I had a postcard collection. I started a postcard collection when I was 5, and she'd send postcards. And I remember being a little bit annoyed that my sisters wanted to have their share of the postcards too. But
I was the lead investigator. Dr. Bremer had taken a bike ride, which she normally did in the evenings after work, and she had not returned home.
The next day, reports say Dr. Bramer didn't show up to work.
I mean, I would have been surprised if she missed any appointment, day of work, anything without calling, letting someone know what her status was.
Dr. Bramer's family says they knew that something was wrong. Very wrong.
Kind of hard to not give up whenever you lose everything.
3 weeks after officials report 4 attempted suicides by hanging in one weekend at the Coles County Jail, Sheriff Kent Martin says,
The initial investigation shows that we were compliant with county jail standards. Our cell checks were on time.
a man who asked to remain anonymous for legal reasons tells us he's been in and out of the Coles County Jail for years, and he doesn't believe the incident happened due to lack of mental health resources.
Now they actually have mental health counseling. They come every week. They used to not have that, and all that's all new. They do give you medicine for mental issues in there now. They never used to do that.
But he says some of the issues may start at the courthouse, maybe even at the state capitol.
They're being very hard on detainment. And once a year detained, you know that the judge ain't gonna let you out no more.
He says when a jail holds people who've been denied pretrial release, one suicide attempt can cause a domino effect.
I see one person leave. That's why I get out of jail free card. It's the only way I can get out. If I sit there and see people, I know that I'm not gonna succeed. I have no real risk. I'm gonna make it look like I'm trying to kill myself.
I have heard that also, but again, I don't know that I can judge each individual's motivation. I have heard that inmates do, make an attempt hoping or assuming that they will be found. Fortunately, in these cases, they were all found, in time.
Dr. Jay Gillum says there may be a simpler explanation. When you have an incident like this where you have 4 separate suicide attempts over the course of a couple days, a weekend, do you believe that there is a chance for correlation among those attempts?
I really, without more information, would have to just say that they just had a really bad weekend. And I know that is not the sexy answer that a lot of people want.
They don't appear to be related. I don't think anyone will really know why this happened except for the individuals that were involved.
So does this incident reflect any trends, whether that's national or throughout jails across the country, jails locally?
I don't think jails are the problem in terms of the trends. I think nationally suicide rates are up. I think a lot of it is tied to belief in society that there are less opportunities. There's correlation between drug use, especially hard drug use, and suicide attempts. And so I think what's going on in the jails is more reflective of what's going on across society.
7 fire departments rushed to Mattoon to help put out a massive business fire with explosions. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Bennett.
And I'm Ben Whitney. Officials say that fire was called in just after 6 last night at the Ilmo Products Company building on Lakeland Boulevard.
Today, some Mattoon residents living nearby told me they had to evacuate their homes.
I heard the noise. It sounded like someone was bombing us, and I thought, oh, surely we're not being bombed,
Linda Carroll and her husband looked outside to see smoke and flames engulfing the building just down the street from their home.
Wow, so this is it right here?
Yeah, that's it right there.
You are so close.
Yeah. Little fireman came to the door and said we needed to go because these tanks were exploding and they could come right through the roof.
Newswatch was on the scene last night where retired firefighter Mike Romine told us what he saw.
So pretty much when I got here, it looked like the building was on the ground.
What we're looking at right now is what remains of last night's fire. And though the damage is significant, Mattoon Fire Chief Jeff Hilligoss says everyone left with the most important thing, their lives.
Thank goodness, somebody was watching over us. Super proud of them.
Ilmo Products is a welding supply company, and Hilligoss says they carried several gas tanks, including anhydrous ammonia.
What could the potential damage have looked like based on the amount of gas that was available here?
A whole lot worse. This facility used to be in town, where if this fire would have occurred while they were in town, would have been completely different.
Newswatch saw the state fire marshal at the scene today investigating, and when we asked if they've determined a cause for the fire, Hilligoss told us,
No, it's still under investigation. We're still collecting different, camera views from different facilities around.
Hilligoss says no one was hurt while tending to the fire. He says Mattoon firefighters struggled to get enough water from nearby sources, so neighboring departments brought in supplies. Ilmo released a statement on their Facebook page thanking firefighters for their help. All surrounding roads have been reopened to the public.
Both my parents are immigrants. They kind of have that immigrant mentality where, they work for everything, and they've instilled that in myself.
Illini forward Greg Attingan's parents tell him he first picked up a hockey stick at age 4.
Just starting off, not even skating, just sprinting around the ice and giving my mom a heart attack.
They say he was a little on the competitive side.
There was one story they tell me how, my team started losing and I kind of started freaking out on the ice, and they had to come down and calm me down, so that was probably really fun for them.
That was my second one of the year. 18 years after he hit the ice, that drive has taken him far. You're looking at the newest Illini member of the 100-point club. He says after losing a quarter of his collegiate playtime to injuries, this milestone is extra special.
Especially going to this year, I didn't know if I was going to be able to play at all or how much if I was going to be able to play. And so my whole mentality was just enjoy every single day, whether it's a practice, whether it's a game. I kind of treat it like it's my last.
And he's carrying that mindset into his final game this weekend. That's right, he's graduating from the University of Illinois after this season and tossing in the puck.
I'm an emotional guy, so it tends to come out, and especially when you're on the ice and when it all does come to a close at that last buzzer, I know the emotions will overcome me.
Hey, no better guy for that to happen to.
But he says hockey is a part of who he is, and he hopes to foster that same excitement as a mentor or coach for the next generation of 100-point scorers.
I remember waking up at 5 a.m. on a school day and waking my parents up to drive me to a morning practice and just being so excited about it. And so I see a lot of myself in them, and it keeps me young as well.